This video is about collecting mosses for a living collection, and this isn't a herbarium as such, because herbaria always press plants and do not keep specimens alive. So I suppose what I'm trying to do here is create a small botanical garden composed entirely of mosses. And part of the idea is to identify some of these mosses as far as possible and to propagate them. This is Centrichia ruralis, a plant common in Britain. This is one of the containers I've been using, and it's an old donut container, and it's had seed and cutting compost in it that's been kept dry. Kept damp, and you can see the different mosses that I'm growing in here, and this container's been going for a few weeks now, and the plants are looking pretty healthy in here. And that one is an orthotrichum species, what I'm quite interested in because it produces lots of fruiting bodies. The other ones here, I'm not quite sure what their identities are, but I think that might be a Kindbergia or possibly a Thuidium. It's very difficult to identify these species, but I'm trying hard, and you have to do that for a living botanical garden, I suppose. Anyway, this container contains a different medium. It contains pumice grains or granules, and of course mosses are some of the first colonizers of volcanic soils and volcanic rock. So it seems to be quite a good idea to me to keep them in a container with volcanic rock and see how they do. And again, these plants have been here for a week or two and they're looking pretty good. The idea is to keep these plants well watered and in a sealed container I'm doing at the moment, because it keeps the moisture in, and they do grow better with moisture. Here we've got 5 very different mosses. Pleurozium is one, and I'm just putting them into boiled water here to rehydrate them before I plant them. That one's a Brachythecium, and again it's looking good and green going into the water too. The next one is a Schistidium, a common plant that grows on rocks and the ground as well. Again, getting hydrated. This one's a Bryum, you can tell because of the capsules on the plant. And the last one is a Centrichia, which is very interesting as a genus, and I'll probably do videos on these plants in later times when I get the chance to do it. Now these plants are being hydrated for 10 minutes. That's all they need. They don't need much more than that. They completely hydrate themselves. They dry out very easy as well. And there you go, you can see that they've greened up quite a lot and grown in size in that bowl of water where I've left them. And they'll now be ready for putting into a container where they hopefully will establish over the next couple of weeks and months. I've taken them out now. You can see they look well hydrated after soaking. And what I'm going to do now for those two, the Brachythecium and Pleurozium, is cut them in half into 2 colonies. There you can see the droplets of water on the hairs of the Centrichia. This is how these plants take up their water, through the hairs at the ends of the leaves. That's a Bryum, and the Schistidium is looking fairly typical for this species, Schistidium crassipillum. So the plants are looking ready for transfer to the containers that I've prepared for them. And this time I've used relatively cheap containers from a local discount shop where each tray costs about 30 pence. And I'm going to cut the Pleurozium and the Brachythecium up into 2 to test which media they prefer to grow in. Half of the plants of these 2 are going into seed and cutting compost. So that's the Pleurozium and the Brachythecium. And I'm trying to make sure that they're well attached to the growth medium. Hopefully that will help their establishment. The medium is damp, and here half goes into pumice, where there's halfway water into the pumice layer, and the plants again are being firmed down to make sure they have good contact with the medium. There we go, two different experiments there. Hopefully in the next few weeks we'll see differences between them. The final container is 3 cushion mosses in a 50-50 mix of pumice and seed compost. Again, these plants would normally be growing on a mixture of rock and soil. All of them may take 2 or 3 months to develop. The containers need to be humid. Thanks for watching.